organization that could lead us to get the inclusion in Canadian society. So we born with the community's effort inside in the community at 15 years before. So when we start, our motto is, if the women move forward, the whole community will move forward. So we start with this motto, and our main goal is to empower the women. The women, those who feel disempowerment inside the community, inside the society, inside in their family. So we work together to build ourselves so that we can march forward. So since we start beginning the organization until today, we support more than 2,000 people, women. We provide them the settlement services. At the same time, we do lots of advocacy work. Why like this? Why we get excluded? Why the racialization increase day by day? Why we are excluded? So every single time, this why we stand up and we ask the question, and we try to confront the systems. We try to convince them, we try to influence them that it is the time to make the change. So our journey starts to advocacy work when we start an organization. First things is childcare. We start the journey to eliminate the main barrier that women feel, unfunded liability, childcare. From that to continue right now, our main demand is full funding for low-income women childcare subsidy. Until they are not funded the childcare subsidy full, the women, those who are racialized, cannot pay upfront, will not going to get the childcare subsidy. So from that journey, we go to the advancing gender equality. We look for decent employment. We see the precarious workplace, unattended, non-unionized, precariously employed immigrant women, how they grinding, how they face the labor market, how every single day they get pushed down and accept the reality that you should be heads down, butts up, work like a machine. So we stand up from these things, that we need our dignity, we need our human rights. That is the basic right we need to survive in Canada. So we are fighting for this social justice from 2016 to continue. We did lots of investigation in the community. And here is my all sisters together, Kishore Lala, Yasmin Sayeda, Juma Paul, Ashadunesa Nivar, and Sultana Haq Babli, and also Husna Sweet. We're going to present the community's lived experience. We'll do a little bit of skit and drama and show you the intersectionality, how we fall through the service crack. And then we're going to discuss together how we can work together to helping these women leadership to be the leader or the mechanism of decision making, to sit down in the table confronting the political leader, policy maker. The system needs to be changed right now. We cannot work like this way. So please welcome these women. We're going to start first skit. So please give us some time. We will go journey together to see the community's lived experience.
What a wonderful country. Look how clean and organized. We will definitely get a better life for our family. First, we need to look for a house. We cannot stay at Airbnb forever.
One bedroom includes hydro, $2,600 based on family size. You need at least 2 bedrooms, which will be included. Hydro is more than $3,000.
Why so high? My friend lives in one-bedroom apartment since 2010 with $1,500. Why does the same accommodation has 2 rent rates?
We need both persons' employment letter with full contract, pay stub, minimum family income $90,000, and also guarantor with the liability for any missing payment. We also need the first and last month's rent as a deposit. What's your status?
We came Canada as skilled immigrant with permanent resident. We are not working in Canada yet.
Sorry, you are not eligible for renting an apartment. You can look for the basement, which might not require an employment letter.
I heard about social housing in Canada. Can I access social housing since I am in a great need?
If you are refugee claimed, protect, PR, and citizen can apply for the social housing. international students are not allowed to apply for social housing. Lots of people waiting more than 10 years to access social housing. So there is a no chance you can get social housing immediately.
This basement is very dark, no window, very small place, shared washroom and kitchen. We four have to live in one-bedroom apartment. This small rat hole rent is $1,800 including utility.
Don't worry. As soon as we get a job, we will move into an apartment. We both need to work. We need childcare support, but it is very expensive.
You need a notice of assessment and employment information to apply for childcare. Since you did not have tax return yet, you cannot apply for childcare subsidy until next year. We have a huge waiting list and you need minimum 25 hours work history or full-time training enrollment papers to eligible for childcare subsidy.
What about universal childcare?
We'll roll out from 2026 but we'll delay.
Sorry, Ma. You stay home and take care of our children. Let me get a job to carry the family's financial needs. I tried to get a job in my professional field as finance at bank for the last 6 months. My savings are shrinking and I will not able to pay my next month's rent. Why are my 15 years foreign experience are not recognized in Canada? I need a job immediately. Any job and any shift. I force myself to work at a low-wage, precarious, minimum wage job.
Sorry, you do not need to come tomorrow since we have a shortage of work.
Last 1 month, I worked with several employers, day, night and weekend, and was unable to earn more than $1,500. How I will pay rent and livelihood expenses? I became poor in Canada. This is not the life I expect in Canada. Why is the minimum wage job less than living expenses? And why minimum wage jobs are not full-time and stable?
Minimum wage calculated based on current inflation, which is the average of all expenses, not only the living expenses.
This is not correct. The prime expenses need $25 per hour, which is the living wage. Now I am laid off and work 650 hours. Can I apply for EI?
If you don't work more than 700 hours, you are not eligible for EI, applying EI, even though you got multiple times laid off before achieving those hours. And EI will pay you 55% of your income loss.
I was laid off multiple times, but not eligible for EI. How will I survive? Should I apply for Ontario work?
For 4% of your family member, we will pay you $1,800. And if you lose your income or reach the bottom of your savings.
Only $1,800? My rent and telephone bill is $2,000. How will I cover my food and other expenses? Please consider me to get at least $2,500, even though I have to cut my lots of expenses.
Sorry, we follow our benefit benchmark. Nothing can be done for you.
Honey, I need some money to buy a dress for our daughter. Please give me $50.
Why do you always ask for money? Do you think I have a money tree? Earn money rather than spend.
Why are you yelling at me? Do you think I always sleep at home?
Yes, you do. Go outside, then you will find how hard it is to earn money.
I told before not come to Canada. It's your fault.
Shut up, it's your fault. Get out of my house.
I don't want to live with you.
Sorry, no spaces in the shelters. Shelters are very crowded. If we have space, very temporary.
So I have to tolerate him and accept all the reality that there is no systemic support for me.
I am feeling so sick. My pressure is so high. I need to go to the hospital. All stress impacts my health.
All hospital emergencies are very crowded. You may need to wait more than 12 hours to see a doctor. OHIP will cover doctor visit, but you have to buy medicine which is very expensive.
I do not have money to buy my food. How I will buy medicine?
No immediate social housing support for you. You are a long waiting list.
No supports for receiving childcare subsidies, excluded based on the criteria.
No decent job for you. Cannot increase minimum wage based on living expenses.
Thank you. The husband should have to dress like man, but unfortunately, we did not find any man that wants to do the role with these women. So the things is in here. You see the intersectionality they face when they come, their experience, that immigrating experience. That's totally controlled by some kind of factors. So this intersectionality and compound inequity, that giving them the bitter experience that the Canada is not a rosy country. So the Canada always promote that what a wonderful country, come in here, you're going to get a better life. They're hunting the skill. So people came in here to get a better life. But when they come in here, there's nothing in here. Nobody found that who they are. So skilled worker, first things you find it out that have the de-skilling and devalue their skill. And de-skilling, devalue is not good. It's not okay a doctor will going to be drive a cab. It's not okay an engineer will going to deliver the pizza. It's not okay. Devalue is a crime. Devalue is not good. Because of this devalue, they are not getting any kind of a skill-based job. So force to work in the job that is minimum wage, that is called poverty wage, is not possible to earn living expenses. So the poverty that is the face, it is the outcome of this underemployment. These two kind of underemployment. One, that skill is not recognized. Second one, they're forced to work below minimum wage or below poverty wage job that is not enough to earn livable expenses. These women face lots of gender identity. We are the South Asian. We are the colored. We are the mother of the children. We have lots of barrier. We have language barrier. But this is not the part that we are excluding. We excluded because whole Canadian system, the way they structure, it is easily excluded some certain group of people, and those the certain group of people are racialized and South Asian. We get excluded because of the systemic, do not recognize, do not see us. We are in the blind spot in Canada. They don't see by the system that these women has lots of compound barrier. They need special kind of support. Not one prescription is working for everyone. The prescription need to be changed, and that is our work. We want to do it. And this is the things in here. Canada always thinks that okay, there is lots of support for the people. The racism is always inside in every single layer of Canada. Every single place they face this racism. You see, every question they ask it, why I'm not eligible for social housing? Why I'm not going to get renting this apartment? No question answered. The system says, sorry, you get excluded because of the criteria. So the criteria is the problem. The system that designed, the problem is the structure, foundation of the system. That system need to break up. That system need to change. So here is the women, those who wants to show the lived experience, the intersectionality, the how we get excluded, how we fall through by the service crack. And we need to build this service crack. Safety net, social service, employment, that is important. Because if I work 8 to 10 hours, I'm not earning enough money to feed my family, how am I going to come out from the poverty? So that is the things. I'm requesting the next skit, please. Start it, please.
I have been looking for a job for the last 6 months. My professional background is finance and accounting. I am now in a huge financial crisis and will not able to pay my next month rent. I need a job immediately, any job to survive. Can you help me, please?
I was also a professional physician in my back home, Bangladesh. Now I am working in a factory through a staffing agency. I can take you to the agency.
Please help me to get a job.
Start work at this line as a production worker. Hey Shapla, this new lady work with you, show her how to work.
New worker again, no time to train her. Hey new woman, follow me and learn by yourself. Don't make any mistake. Oh, you are too slow. Make so many mistakes. Work fast, faster than others. Why you are so nervous?
I didn't get any training and this is the first day. Please give me some time.
Why you make a so mess? Work like a machine. You immigrant good for nothing. Such a lazy head.
Hey sister, this week I just worked 3 days. How many days you work at this week?
Only 2 days. Even though my agency hired me a full-time worker, this on-call work arrangement grinding me a lot. I might not be able to pay rent this month since my husband is laid off now. So stressful life.
Yeah. You know, the agency calls me at 6 a.m. to start my shift at 7 a.m. I have a sick child at home and I just drop her at neighbor house and force myself to come to the work. And for this I need to pay $5 per hour and $50 a day. How will I afford this cost?
Don't talk. This is not gossip area. I need more production.
Look at us, 10 hours work shift and work like a slave. But still cannot meet our basic expenses.
I don't mind working at this labor job, but the precarious work nature, poverty wage and lack of safety nets are the main concern.
Are you talking about health and safety? The COVID-19 virus infected my co-worker at the workplace and now she has long COVID symptoms. Her WSAB claim was denied and WSAB doctor said that it is her pre-existing and age-related issue, whereas her family doctor mentioned that this is the outcome of workplace infection. So now she is incapable for working and she depends on ODSP.
Why are there not enough policies to confront this precarious nature of work? And who can hold employers accountable?
The union can do this, but our workplace is not unionized. And in fact, 90% of low-wage, retail, precarious sectors, manufacturing sectors, and fast food sectors are not unionized.
No protection for us. We need to defend our rights.
Defend the workers' rights. Defend the rights for all. Thank you.
I hope that you can see the real nature of the precarious workplace. Hiring by the staffing agency as a supply worker, temporary help agency, and stay in their labor pool. When they call you anytime, they can call you early in the morning. So every day, woke up, put your feet inside the shoes, ready, and wait for the employer call. This is called on-call job. The employer can call 1 hour before, say, come, work is started. They don't consider that this worker has their personal life. You have to leave your children with a very unattended, substandard childcare, $5 per hour. Only sitting on front of the TV. The kids also in the jail, you also in the jail, going to the work. And in the workplace, how you treat as a slave. That you did not get any training to work. And every time pressure, you'll lose the job. Because of this vulnerability, they never stand and fight for their rights. Because they don't have alternative. That, okay, I'm not going to do this job is not good, I'm going to go tomorrow to another job. Or I have enough money in the bank, so I can feed myself at least 1 month. And not the extra family support. So these 3 things make them so vulnerable, they never stand up for their right. Yeah, you can go to the Ministry of Labor, complain, but who will come to support you? We need third parties intervention for this person because these workers are very vulnerable. 90% precarious workplace, manufacturing, retail are not unionized. There is no union to support them. These non-unionized workers every single day beaten by the employer as a slave. This is a modern slave market. The gig economy in here, the contractual childcare worker, Uber nanny, you float from one childcare center to the another childcare center. Today you work in the morning time 7 to 9, go home, come back again 3 o'clock, 3 to 5. So you are spending 10 hours a day only for 5 hours job. So this is the work. End of the day, every worker lives matter. All these union workers, you are so lucky you have a protection. This non-unionized worker, they need your support right now. Because they need the end of the day, if their life is bad, your life will be the bad. Because we see 50% people, those who are working in Toronto right now, are these precarious workers. Day by day, this number is growing. Permanent worker number gets shrinking. Temporary, this workers number is getting increased. You see the nature of this exploitation. The nature the employer get it. Huge authority. Where is the referee? Where is the government in here? To keep the policy, make the way they can hold the employer accountable. You cannot do these things in here. No. So these are the conditions that women face in here. And these are the conditions that grinding their life. So they need a union in here. They need support. So I'm going to request you to do the third presentation, then I'll come back.
I have had enough of this life. We all came to Canada because we were promised better opportunities, security and a better life. But here, we are working in this factory for poverty wages, on-call, flexible shifts, health and safety concerns, and without any stability or security for our jobs.
Shh, be quiet. The supervisor or manager will hear you and then you will lose your job.
But that is exactly the problem. They treat us as disposable. We all are being exploited because we need money to pay the rent and afford to live in Toronto.
It is so difficult to live in this city. I was told that Toronto has all the support, but I don't see it. Every day it seems that the prices are going up for rent, food and basic necessities. I could barely afford my necessity before the pandemic, but now I am not. I am afraid that I will be evicted very soon with no place to go with my young children.
What kind of life is this?
I am also struggling, but unlike you two, I don't have permanent status. Every day I am struggling to access support, but I am excluded from everything. If I lost this job, then I have absolutely nothing. I heard that after you get permanent status, you can get more support.
I know it is very difficult for you right now, but trust me when I say this, we all are in the same situation and same uncertainties. I am sorry to say that the safety nets that are supposed to support us is not responsive. And I have been on wait list for housing more than 8 years and no luck yet. I was also turned away from WSIB when I got injured in my workplace, and I couldn't apply for EI when I was needed that. And the social assistance is now nowhere near enough. Who knows what will happen when I will get retired, because my CPP will not support that enough.
What about doctors, education and childcare, other social support?
I lost my family doctor before the pandemic because she retired. To this day, I do not have a family doctor because there is no space. I also went to the hospital the other day because my son was sick, but we had to wait in line for more than 8 hours. And school and childcare, yes, education, school are free, but no childcare. Can you imagine? I lost my childcare subsidy because I lost my job before the pandemic and I was staying at home. Now, still today, I am struggling to renew it and get back on the long waiting list for childcare.
All social support safety nets have holes in them, and the hole is growing day by day. More and more people are falling through, but there is no conversation about how to close them.
What is this? Because of the economic and political uncertainties and environmental disaster, I and my family member were struggling to save and secure being back home. I was told that if I can't come to Canada, then I could find some security. I am going through this difficult and inhuman immigration process while draining myself and my family's minimal resources since I am not eligible for safety nets. We are doing all this because we were told that we can finally find the safety and security we were looking for after getting permanent status. Now you are telling me that my situation may not change?
I am saying that while your and my situation is different, that at the end of the day, we are all in the same boat. Our needs and realities are being neglected. We are being told to be patient because there are budget deficiency and crisis.
But communities like ours are always been in the uncertainties. There are always deficiency, shortfalls and problems to address the livelihood concerns.
But don't you know, there are always seems to be money where there is a war to fund.
What do you mean?
Yes, billions of dollars are being sent to fund genocides and wars with our tax money. There was no consultation, no consent from the public to take this action. This is what they do. They starve and beat us here, and they take money to starve and beat the people around the world. Meanwhile, this action also hurt us here. They call black, brown and Arabic people are terrorists, uncivilized and barbaric.
So many people keep saying that we need to address racism, but this is how they make the racism worse. They promote anti-racism in the workplace and in public spaces, but the colonial and imperialist strategies don't change. They worsen the existing racism, Islamophobia, xenophobia and other kinds of discrimination. The other day, our manager was saying such racist things about agency hires like us, even saying that we are taking other people's jobs and houses. I wonder from where he heard that from.
Oh, that person is so horrible. Not only that, I heard if he fired a woman who needed some personal time to leave an abusive relationship. Poor woman had nowhere to go. Last I heard she was trying to get into the shelters, but I don't know, I hear that they are full nowadays.
I know her, she is my neighbor. The situation was too bad. To be honest, I was the one who suggested her to do something about the abuse. Really, no one should be treated like this way in their family. But I didn't know if she left home, there would be no support or services for her. Not only are existing services like shelters and legal clinics are overcrowded, but because of her immigration status, it became even more complicated. I was told that Canada would be a safe place for women, but she keeps getting turned away from the support. How does anyone feel safe in this situation?
It is true that no one should be treated in their family, but no one should be stranded during such difficult times. It is not your fault for telling her to leave. It is our society's fault for not supporting her.
It is true what you said. Our situation are different, but in the end, we all are struggling to lead a decent and dignified life. How do we address this? What do we do?
You know, it is not that there are no solutions of this problem. In our communities and communities across Toronto, we are seeing that people are coming up with solutions to address these issues. These solutions are coming from the front lines, those with the lived experience of those problems. These solutions have been there for years too.
We know the solutions to this budget, logistical and political problems that employers and policymakers are failing to address. It is time that our voices are heard. It is time that we have systems that meet the needs of people like us.
Thank you. Yes, it is time. It is time to hear us. So, our main concern is like when we start to talk about the systemic change, 2016, we did a big investigation in the community. 286 precariously employed immigrant women. We sit down with them, discussing very deeply that what kind of problem, how they feel disempowered, how they feel, what kind of solution we should provide it. The Skid already mentioned that the problem is we know what's the solution. Give us the power to solve this solution. But problem is we know the solution. Power is in the system hand that do not really wants to solve the problem. So this is the main problem. So when we do this investigation, in 2016-17, we bring a books that recommended what kind of change we need. First recommendation is we ask the government, do an investigation why the skilled people are doing de-skilling job and why this underemployment still exists in the society, and underemployment should have to be dealt with. So we call the government to do a public inquiry to find it out what is the cause of this underemployment. Find it out the solution, find it out the remedy and practice this remedy, because underemployment is very inhuman. So we ask these things, then we ask the government, do an investigation how the staffing agency grinding the precarious job. Stop this staffing agency, restrict them, bonding them and banning them, regulated them so they cannot make the life so precarious or make the workplace so slavery. We ask equitable access to work-related social benefit, EI, CPP, maternity, and we ask that economic support for this, flexibility of the employer, that when they can like it, they can lay it off you. But this is not your choice. You are not asking for this flexibility. So we want that support, that if the employer wants us to work half days, even though like I was hired to work as a full-time, they should give us the incentive. Because a long time before we fight for not working more than 8 hours, we ask for the overtime. We ask the overtime that if I work more than 8 hours, 1.5 you'll pay. So, but now we are asking that kind of support over payment when the employer wants us to do work half when we are assigned to work full time. So the pandemic, when it hits the ground, we see this pre-existing inequality. Do I pass the time? Okay, sorry. So pre-existing inequality that make this racialized group very hit by the pandemic. Nobody can do the frontline manufacturing job or retail job virtually. It is in person. There is lots of ways they get infected. And also the things like during the pandemic, 3% job is done by 1 person. So all the pressure that they're creating to these racialized immigrant workers are very tough. They are getting beaten inside in the family, they get beaten inside in the community, they get beaten inside in the workplace. Gender-based violence in the workplace, gender-based violence in the community, gender-based violence inside in the family. All three make a very complex situation. Now, no place to go. We see the escalation of the gender-based violence. We see every scholar, every researcher saying that racialized immigrant women hit very hard. That's why it's called she-session. So, but the solution, the prescription that government bring in, they totally do not look, they excluded us. There is no support for them, re-enter the labor market for them. Lots of job is coming in automation in retail and manufacturing, fast food sector. They replace their hand. So they are not returning back yet. But pandemic benefit is already finished in October 2021. When they try to return back to the job, they find it out job is not over there. They cannot compete it. So when they go back to the government, no benefit for them. So depending on social assistance, that is not paid enough. So it is time together to change. Because without change, it is not possible to survive in Canada. We do not want two kinds of Canada in here. So the distance between rich and poor is very high. And the distance is increasing day by day. Only 1% people hold 95% wealth. That's not going to be work. So the government should do something. It is the government responsibility, it is the system responsibility to fix it. And let us live in a Canadian standard life. So that pandemic that hit at us is still not going. It's not enough. So we still feel the pandemic. We are facing two pandemics. One is poverty and one to continue the pandemic. So supporting us and helping us to everyone listen. Because you see how many times they get laid up to when they need to get 700 hours. Multiple time laid up to reach the 700 hours, so then they can get the EI. but multiple time laid-offs without the benefit. How they will survive? We need to work together. When the government said that they will modernize the AI system, they will modernize that system. But we see the government wants to go build back before, not the build back better. So we want better. Like pandemic period, if you say 180 hours is enough for the applying AI, why you are bringing right now 700? You know the precarious work nature is not going out. That is no stable job. It is not 1930, so that all of this system that you build it over there, still you can implement this. It is the time, break the system, build a new system. Yes. So break